Okay, I'm back. This is part 2 on CCSVI and the liberation procedure of Dr. Zamboni's breakthrough in MS research. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would wager that he'll probably end up winning the Nobel Peace Prize in medicine for this, if indeed he gets the funding and people seriously look into this. And now, I'm going to ramble a lot. I'm going to hit all kinds of points because I have been so excited. But I've been tempering that excitement to not make a video till I've really done more and more research. The problem is that I was going to do more research so I didn't get overly excited. The more research I do, the more excited I get. And the more apt I would be to say, oh my God, it's a cure. And I can't say that right now because, you know, it's just, I want to believe it. Everyone wants to believe it. But people with MS that has went further beyond the relapsing remitting, like I said, just like your cholesterol increases with age and progresses, you can start out relapsing remitting. You have the stricture or the stenosis, and as you know, stuff builds up on the wall, the stenosis gets worse and worse, so the disease progresses. This is a theory of mine, which makes sense. So why are some people, like at 19, 20 years old, bam, hit with primary progressive? Because their strictures is structurally really bad. And as you know, as you change from childhood to young adulthood to adulthood, that could trigger a major change in that vein as you grow in height, you know, and as the veins are going to grow with you, are going to change with you, stretch and whatnot. Or I'm not going to get into that because it's just there are too many theories. But what he's basically saying, as I said, is that MS is actually, and his hypothesis is that MS, the autoimmune process in multiple sclerosis, is a symptom of this other disease. And so people who are in a wheelchair are probably going to see this video and say, well, what's that do for me? Why are you in the wheelchair? That's the question. Could it be the plaques? Probably not, because I have a bunch of plaques on my brain, like over 40, and I can still walk. It's the location of the plaques that has a lot to do with it. Chronic inflammation. You can have inflammation that's like constant inflammation keeping you from walking. Well, if they do this procedure, they put a stent in there and it floods your brain with oxygenated blood, and the deoxygenated blood gets out, that inflammation is going to reduce. You may see people who thought that they were permanently disabled be able to walk again. The only thing that it wouldn't reverse would be brain damage caused by those plaques. So, yeah, I can't look into this camera and tell anyone, oh, well, you know, you're in a wheelchair, so this procedure, if it works, won't work for you. I think it's going to work for some people in wheelchairs. I think it's going to work for some people who use a cane. I think it may even help people who are bedridden go from being bedridden to a wheelchair. I mean, I think everyone is going to step up to an earlier part of their disease, but that's just what I think. So here's the important thing with this. We have got to put pressure on our neurologists, on our MS societies, to get funding, to get our insurance companies, Medicaid, whomever you have coverage through, to cover this experimental thing. Buffalo, New York has learned the procedure from Dr. Zamboni. Wayne State University has basically tested his imaging and his results, and they find the same thing. In the U.S., they're looking at it. I think Canada will probably start doing the procedure more widespread than the U.S. because the FDA really stops a lot of things in the U.S. And I will happily go to Canada if they start doing this procedure. And besides, I want to meet a few people from up in Canada that I talk to on a regular basis. I wouldn't mind meeting them. But anyway, I'll digress. This is big news. Get excited. get very excited. This news is coming out now. Some people have heard about this for a long time, but the research is about to be published, and you can't. Dr. Zamboni, you have to understand this. You're a doctor who's discovered this, okay? You know damn well that what you've discovered, this procedure that could be done all over the world, will help people, will stop their disability from building up, will stop the disease from progressing any further than it has, to essentially cure it, right? And no one can do it because everyone's afraid, because it's outside the box, or it's controversial or whatever, and no one's doing it. So imagine the frustration this poor man has. Here he's, for the love of his wife, has researched this, came up with this procedure that can help people, and there are people every day that are making the switch from relapsing remitting to secondary progressive. There are people every day coming down with primary progressive and having major damage done because the stenosis would be worse. And the thing is, in his research, he's finding that the stenosis has a lot to do with the clinical course of what your MS is going to take. That's the weird thing. It's like, with every hypothesis he's had, it's been met with proof. The hypothesis that, where the location of the stricture is has to do with what kind of MS you have, how severe it is. And the aging process is going to do nothing but make that stenosis or stricture, that kinking of the vein, worse. Common sense tells you just the older you get, that that's going to worsen. So I could make 150 videos about this. Look it up. You really do some research, and just, you'll see some stuff where people, that take his research are like, well, this merits further investigation. But you also have some doctors and some places that are panicking. Like, we've got to get this out. And that's Dr. Zamboni's frustration. It has to be. To know that this liberation procedure could stop the MS from getting worse on so many people while they drag their feet. So, everyone with multiple sclerosis, email the national chapter of the Multiple Sclerosis Society. Make your neurologist look into it. And it starts with me. I'm not going to tell you to do something I'm not going to do. We've got to band together. Anyone who watches this video has got contact whomever you need to, and demand that this procedure, 1, is made available, 2, that the imaging where they find the veins that are the azygos and the jugular vein, that imaging is done on a regular basis. We need to make this protocol, okay, for you have a diagnosis of MS, instead of the spinal tap, you do your MRI. The MRI comes out with plaques. The next thing before the spinal tap or the lumbar puncture that they would do should be this Doppler, this venography. The Doppler, which will find, changes in the veins to where blood's not flowing, which you would do with your MRI, the venography. We need to change the way MS is diagnosed. Okay, it's obvious 100% of people with MS have this problem so far in their research, so make it a diagnosis criteria. If you have it, you have MS, and then go straight to the procedure. There's no time to waste. Tempus fugit. We've got to get on this right now. So this is my video about it. Please search chronic cerebrospinal venous insufficiency, CCSVI, liberation procedure, Dr. Paolo Zamboni, Ferrara, Italy. Look all of this up, and you will find that a cure is very close. So God bless you. This is great news. I'm going to start crying. I'm going to start crying because I really have faith that he's found it. He's found the missing link. So, all right. God bless. Have a great day, and let's erase MS from the face of this earth. Bye-bye now.